Welcome back to another edition of Baseball for Maniacs. I didn't expect to film again today because today I already did my Adolis Garcia player preview, how I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to have a resurgent year. So go check that out. But a very interesting tweet dropped from Devin Caney over at 94 WIP, and I'm just going to read it to you guys and then get into it. Devin Caney writes, "Sources tell me Bryce Harper has been advocating for more right-handed power and someone who could give the Phillies more emotional edge/swagger. I'm told Harper suggested Dave Dombrowski look into a reunion with Rhys Hoskins, who remains a free agent. I'm told Hoskins is game to come back and finish the job with the Phillies. Dombrowski kicked tires on a potential reunion before ultimately deciding Hoskins is not a good fit, according to sources." At what point do we just cut the plug with Dave Dombrowski? He's doing this crap out of spite. He knows what the media thinks about him. He knows what the Phillies want, what the Phillies fans want. They would love a Rhys Hoskins reunion. Bryce Harper would love a Rhys Hoskins reunion. And Dombrowski, in his arrogant, narcissistic, scumbag way, is saying to you, I make the decisions over here. This is my last year. I don't care what happens to the Phillies. I'll run this to the ground. Bryce Harper wanted Rhys Hoskins. Bryce Harper has been critical of your comments, and you decided to spite him by taking his suggestion and throwing it in the freaking trash. And when I first heard the news of this going on, excuse me, and I saw he's not a fit. How about this, Dave Dombrowski? I'm going to lay some scenarios for you that will prove that he could be a fit if you knew how to construct a freaking roster. Why are we doing this for you? You're the ones being paid so much money. I'm a guy with a mic, and I can tell you how to do your job right now. Trade Alec Bohm. Because essentially, what would Rhys Hoskins be for you? He'd be a right-handed bat off the bench. Currently, with this roster construction, there's not a fit because Otto Kemp's going to be the left field platoon, Edmundo Sosa is going to be the second base platoon, and then there's no room for Rhys Hoskins, right? Because Otto Kemp and Edmundo Sosa both have to be on the roster. So, you've been wanting starting pitching depth, right? You've told us that. You've looked to add a starter. Walker Buehler goes to San Diego. Miles Michaelis goes to Washington. Jose Quintana goes to the Rockies. So where are you getting your starting pitching depth? Where are you going to go? Like, you told us you need that, and you still don't have it, and spring training games start tomorrow. So here's an idea, Dave, and I'm going to lay this down for you as you're thinking you're a 12-year-old that doesn't understand, because that's how you've been operating this franchise the last few years. Trade Alec Bohm for a mid-tier starting pitcher. Oh my gosh. Is that so hard to comprehend? Because you know what that does? That opens up a spot for Rhys Hoskins. Because now Edmundo Sosa and Otto Kemp can fill time at third base. Bryson Stott, who your manager, Rob Thompson, says can play every day against lefties, he can play every day against second base. And that does two things. One, it opens up a spot for Rhys Hoskins, so he can be that right-handed bat off the bench. And two, it doesn't hamstring you from calling up Aiden Miller if he's ready. And you've told us before, the good ones come fast. So if he's ready, where are you going to put him? You don't have anywhere to put him because you didn't trade Alec Bohm. Now, Bryce Harper is doing your job for you. He's giving you an out. He's telling you, hey, this right-handed bat, that former Phil, playoff moments, playoff riser, is willing to come back because it said Hoskins was game to come back, but you said he wasn't a fit. And it's just so frustrating that Dave, I genuinely think when Bryce Harper came to him, in the back of his head, he said, absolutely not. Not because it doesn't make sense, because you came and told me. Dave Dombrowski doesn't like being told what to do because the whole not elite comments, one, were blasphemous. Two, it's the messenger. Dave Dombrowski has not been elite as a president of baseball operations since Boston. He has come here and he has not done his job. You could say, well, his second year, he brought us to the World Series. No. He didn't bring us to the World Series. Matt Klentak brought us to the World Series. JT, Matt Klentak guy. Bryce Harper, Matt Klentak guy. Zach Wheeler, Matt Klentak guy. Who did he bring? I'll tell you who he brought in. I'll tell you who he brought in right now. Nick Castellanos. Dave Dombrowski guy. Taijuan Walker, Dave Dombrowski guy. Jordan Romano, Dave Dombrowski guy. Joe Ross, Dave Dombrowski guy. Max Kepler, Dave Dombrowski guy. You see the trend, guys? Those players suck. Those players suck, and it's all because of Dave Dombrowski. And what would it have cost you? $6 million? Well, gee, I mean, that's a lot of money, right? No. You gave Joe Ross $4 million last year. You gave Henry's Familia $6 million in 2022. You gave Jordan Romano $9 million in 2022. So even if it wasn't a freaking fit, it's $6 million. He's not going to sign for that much, and he wants to come home. He wants to come home and finish the job. It is a player that will fit into this clubhouse seamlessly. Harrison Bader, the guy you let walk because you did two of things. You misread the market, and you thought he just had a couple months of peak Bader, and you don't think he's going to return to that form. You let your stubbornness, you let your arrogance get in the way of Harrison Bader, and you're doing the same exact thing with Rhys Hoskins. Dave Dombrowski or Bryce Harper will not be with this franchise next year because I know Bryce is pissed off with Dave. Not only about the comments, but he's not being taken seriously as the face of your franchise. The face of your franchise is supposed to be involved with these kind of moves. It's not a outlandish thing for Bryce Harper to suggest we need more right-handed protection. And guess what? Would Rhys also provide you? Because if you would have signed him, he would have been the right-handed bat off the bench. What if Bryce goes down? Who are you going to put at first base? What if Kyle goes down? Who are you going to put at DH? You have no one. Rhys Hoskins could have been that guy to where John Middleton needs to step in after this year. Because I truly, firmly believe that Bryce Harper will be like, I'm not playing under this guy. He has been a terrible, terrible president of baseball operations, and this shows that. Because here's the thing. Your job as a GM is to be creative. Why would you let Bader walk and not try to trade Marsh? Because Brandon Marsh has value. He's one of the guys that you could have traded, but you didn't do that. You need starting pitching depth, but you refuse to sign anyone to where you have no one left to get. And now you have an out by Bryce Harper telling you Rhys Hoskins wants to come back. I want him back, to where you can use a Alec Bohm or Edmundo Sosa in a trade piece. You're telling me you couldn't get a 3 or 4 starter for Alec Bohm? A 3 or 4 starter for Edmundo Sosa? Like, come on, dude. And it's just like, I think it's just arrogance. I think it's Dave Dombrowski looking at the fans, looking at all the backlash from the Bo Bichette signing, from the JT Realmuto signing, and he's saying this, oh, you want a fan favorite back? I'm not doing that for you guys. I'm not doing that for the way you guys treated me. Dave Dombrowski is an emotional little baby, and he's showing that with the moves he's not making, to where that's pretty much going to do it for this episode of Baseball for Maniacs. It's just so frustrating when you have a player that you know fits the city, wants to come back and finish the job. Because obviously, Dave Dombrowski, you could give two shits about finishing this job. You are so far out of, you don't care about the Phillies anymore. You're just riding out your contract. John Middleton needs to step in and do something, because this is utterly ridiculous. I could have put a Rhys Hoskins poster back up here on my wall, and he could have been a vital piece to this team finishing the job. I'm so flabbergasted, and let me know what you guys think. You're probably going to disagree with me. You're probably going to be like, there wasn't a fit. I gave you 3 or 4 scenarios to where you could have done 2 things. You could have made room for Rhys Hoskins. You could have made him a fit, and you could have upgraded an area of your ball club that needs upgrading. Starting pitching depth. If Zach Wheeler is not who Zach Wheeler is, we are screwed. If Aaron Nola is the Aaron Nola of last year, we are screwed. Taijuan Walker, no one knows what he's going to be in the 5th starting spot. Andrew Painter's a rookie, to where it's not just one starting pitcher you're banking on. It's 3 to 4 guys of our 6-man starting rotation that are wild cards. And you didn't improve that, but you could have done it if you traded Alec Bohm or Edmundo Sosa, paving the way for a fan favorite to come back who has been successful in this city, who loves this city, who bleeds red and white. But screw you, Dave Dombrowski. Go Phils.